Good morning, team, and welcome to the first demo session of Power BI. I'm a trainer for the day, and we'll walk you through the components of Power BI and the rich and the stunning dashboard that you can actually create through Power BI. We'll also see what are the other solutions that Power BI has to offer to its clients. So, going with the first step, Power BI is, of course, an interactive data visualization BI tool, and this was launched in the year 2014, and it's a product that's offered by Microsoft. So it's basically a business intelligence tool that helps you create very stunning and good looking dashboards. So Power BI is now the leader in the market, and they have really taken a great capture, and it's really gaining momentum. So uh, it's really gonna be fun to get to know this tool because way simpler than any other BI tools in the market because it don't need any technical skill set to actually create the dashboards in here. A very basic understanding of even an Excel sheet works, and you can actually jump into Power BI and be a Power BI developer. So this is really a great tool to learn, and it offers a lot of great, good-looking dashboard uh, within tool. Um, Power BI is basically divided into three components out here, and this is basically the services, the uh, of course, sorry, the Power BI desktop. That's the first component that Power BI offers, and then the Power BI services, and the Power BI mobile, where you can actually install the app in the Power BI mobile and you can view your visualizations. So it's really excellent, guys. They have drilled down to they have penetrated to the requirements of the clients, and you can actually even access your dashboard in the phone. So Power BI Desktop is a free of cost tool. It's available in the Microsoft Store and anyone can download it. So that's the great news, guys. You can start downloading and you can start trying. So all you just need to go to is the Microsoft Store and order your copy. So it's absolutely free of cost. Power BI services. And you can actually even publish your dashboard free of cost. So Power BI offers workspace where you can actually publish your dashboard. It's really easy. Power BI services is something once you upload the data in the workspace, you get, and if you want to make changes, so you can even do the changes in the dashboard in the Power BI services, which is the kind of web layer of the Power BI. So you can even uh, do changes in the Power BI services. So that's again a great thing that is offered. It's just nothing much. It's just an online tool. And then the third component is the Power BI mobile. Of course, to use all these features and the rich benefit of Power BI, you need to have a pro license, but that's not really mandatory to kickstart the development because the Power BI desktop is self-sufficient enough and have all the visualizations and additional visualizations. I'm sure you can access to the marketplace to download additional visualization, install it within the Power BI, and start creating the dashboard. So uh, that's that's where you go. Power BI is a business analytics service by Microsoft, and it aims to provide very interactive visualizations and business intelligence capabilities with an interface that is simple enough, does not require any skill set, and the end users can create stunning report and dashboards. So, uh, moving ahead, Power BI and the analytics market. So, we have to understand, why and what is BI and analytics. So, BI, of course, as I told you before, BI stands for business intelligence and analytics. So, why these two terms are being used? So, when you're actually dealing with the BI industry where you create visualizations, we deal with a lot of data. To understand the fact that, when we're dealing with data, it means that, we have business and or say your client has business. and they have been running it for a couple of years down the line, say some 20 years, 30 years. And you understand business has perpetual existence. So um, it's been running for a while, and then think about the huge amount of database, the customer database, the sales figures, the monthly income, the monthly the tax that the tax liability that the company creates. I'm just giving you a kind of rough example as to how the industry is. So, you have this huge scale of data that um, comes into picture. And when you actually start digging more into this, you get to see that these are forming some sort of trend that can help you decide and take better business decision. And here is where the BI industries are coming into existence, that they are able to assemble all this data in a single hub and give you an analysis on your data and help you take a better managerial decision, better decisions in term of the uh, in the favor of the business. So that's where the BI and the analytics market is um, taking its picture. So what's trending in the BI industry? Of course, Power BI is the number one business intelligence tool, and I don't say this because I like this tool or they create stunning visualizations, not really, but is the industrial research partner, Gartner. So Gartner is again, Gartner is a industry, that does research about these competitors and niche market players and leaders and visionaries. So these are divided into four quadrants, and Gartner does their research and tells us which are the number one tools or the products in the BI industry. So, according to this Gartner's recent research, so Power BI has taken momentum as now the business leader. Of course, majorly because Power BI desktop is available to its clients free of cost. So anyone can download, anyone can use it and start creating your visualizations, and you don't require a skill set to do that. So that's what it is. The Power BI is the number one tool. So since 2014 till now, of course, when they actually launched and people were not much aware of this product in the market, they were not number one. But as people started using it and they started inculcating it in their business, unlike other BI tools where you actually tend paying huge amount of um, huge amount of money to buy the um, corporate license, and you don't have to do the same thing in Power BI. So only when you are using a very secured zone in Power BI, only then it's like a little bit of costly affair. But then again, you can buy your own workspace in Azure, own database where Power BI is installed, and you have your own workspace which is completely secured, so no one will have access to that space except for um, the uh, Azure and your client and you yourself as a developer. So it will be a secure zone. But that's not yet at all mandatory in here. Um, Still to reduce and minimize the cost, you can still use the common workspace, which is yet pretty much secured. Because once you're buying the pro tool, you are signing agreement. Microsoft is signing an agreement with your company to keep your data secured, and trust me, when it's Microsoft, your data is absolutely secured, so you don't have to worry much as to if you're publishing the data and it's getting exposed, not unless and until you give a wrong email ID or wrong user access. Your Power BI dashboards and and the underlying data are absolutely secured. So uh, that's the Power BI. That's all about that the Power BI has to offer you, in a nutshell. Um, so who's the target audience basically? So our target audience can be anyone from any industry, from any domain. So we have seen, I have been training Power BI crowd, and I have been training doctors, surgeons, pharmaceutical industries, uh, industries coming from, even small uh, grocery stores outside, and they want to implement analytics. And I have also seen um, good amount of big fours coming up into picture where these people are signing up for training. So Power BI, appreciates skill sets from various domain, because the number one reason is you don't really need a programming background. So to understand, of course, Power BI, the entire build is a .NET build. So this platform is built on .NET, but that should not bother you, because the tool that the what Microsoft Power BI is offering you, you can actually design the visualizations within the tool. So that's the interesting portion of being a Power BI developer. So if you are new to this place and you are looking forward to develop your own visualization, um, welcome aboard. You are my target audience, and you don't really require uh, a programming background to get the things moving. So let me to show you some interesting facts before we actually move into, while I flip my screen to the actual Power BI tool, and I walk you through the entire overview as to how the tool looks and where to find what. So this was, on your left, if you see, um, on your left, if you see, you have the Gartner's chart, which was in Feb 2014. Yep, so not very uh, old research. Is just a couple of years, I guess 5 years down the line, if you see. So 5 years down the line, if you see in here, Tableau was the number one tool, and still Microsoft 2014 they have launched, and they had already been the part of the race, and they were already leaders at that time. Of course, Tableau was the number one tool. Then it was ClickView, then it was Microsoft, and somewhere, even I am also a Spotfire developer, so I used to use the Spotfire tool as well. So you see here the typical Spotfire, even they were the market leaders. So these were, like, the few market leaders, and there were other tools that were also gaining momentum. So in 2014, if you remember, the BI industry actually boomed a lot, because they had seen the launch of quite a new tool. So even IBM Watson Analytics had came into picture, and uh, even they were very powerful. So they had a really good, really a good uh, amount of visualizations to offer to its client, and it was a great tool, of course. But of course, if you see on your right, which is Feb 2019, not quite a late um, research. So those players and the crowds that were gaining momentum in the leader quadrant on the top right corner, they have all gone. So it's now the market leader, Power BI, and followed by Tableau, and maybe ClickView is still struggling to be a leader, but they are. But there's a huge gap. There's a huge gap between the volume that volume of customers that Power BI has, and Tableau has, and ClickView has. So that's the reason there's a huge amount of distance between these leaders, unlike the one that we used to see in 2014, where there were overlapping data. So, and of course, you see typical Spotfire has gone down from leaders to visionaries. It's touching the thin line and trying to really gain momentum. But of course, this is what it shows, the research um, uh, of Feb 2019, that this is the market scenario of Power BI. So stick together, and trust me, you are actually about to learn a great tool that's a market leader, and you are gonna be the elite um, member of this Microsoft Power BI community. So welcome aboard, guys. Um, Moving ahead. So what's new in Power BI and what's the latest trending feature, the latest updates to the tool, and what do you actually require um, uh, beforehand to install this Power BI tool? Because of course, any tool, if they are getting installed, they need some capabilities that your desktop has to hold. Only then you can actually install it. But those are not much they demand. So if you see in here, let me just flip my screen in here now. Um, So this is the Power BI tool in here, and I'm already logged in. Basically, even you can log in. So once you install the Power BI, you'll get a sign in popper somewhere around in here, and you can actually uh, log in into uh, this tool. You need to have a company ID. Um, Only then you will have access to the Power BI. Else, you can actually continue using without signing in, but then, you'll not be able to use the other features, which is the Power BI services and the Power BI mobile. You can create the visualization and you can send it across mail. So that's of course, yes, you can do that. Um, but, signing in offers you better solutions. So you need to have a company ID to sign into the tool. So if you don't have a company ID, do not worry. Once you join our session and once you are part of this training session, once you subscribe for our training, so we will guide you and will help you through as to how you can actually sign into the tool. Um, in the you can sign into how you can sign into the tool and how you can actually create your own company ID. So we're not going to open a new company for sure, but we are going to offer you a way to actually crack this and log in. So going ahead, if say, what is new in the tool, what are the new upgrades, and what do you actually have in the newer versions of the tool. So Power BI, actually keeps upgrades its tool every month. Yeah, that's what you heard it right. So Power BI upgrades its this tool every month, and you get every month a new upgrade where you have to just download it. So once you have the upgrade in place, you can actually you'll get a notification here that new updates available, and you can just click on that to download the newer versions of Power BI. So uh, that's again a excellent feature, and those updates are free of cost, so you don't have to pay a single penny. So that's again excellent good news. It's all free, free, free. So Power BI desktop. So this is the one that you see is a Power BI desktop. And if you just need to know, where you actually can get started, you can even watch their demo visuals, demo walkthrough. But those are not much, of course, to have an in-depth understanding, and that's the reason you are here, to have an in-depth understanding about the tool. And once you actually you can actually click on these videos and you can actually have an idea as to how um, you can use the newer concepts and newer updates and where to find them. So those are all discussed in the Power BI welcome uh, dialog box. So every month, once a new update, in fact, whenever you open, you always see this in screen unless until you don't uncheck it. But I would rather suggest that you don't uncheck this, because this is really important for you to know what's going on with the Power BI, and so that you keep yourself up to date. You can click on these links and forums and blogs and tutorials to understand what are the new features that's been added and how the things are going on in the industry. So moving ahead, I'm already inside the Power BI, um, and this is how the tool looks. Um, this is the most recent version that I have, the most up-to-date version. You have your visualization section on your right. you once you insert new data in here, you can actually see the columns populating. If there are too many columns in your data, you can actually click on search and you can follow it. You can keep a filter slicer and drag it, and you can use it as a filter. If you need to just limit the data, you can just drag the columns in here in the filter sections, and you can apply it. So if you want to apply a filter on all pages, which will be common, so you can use that as well. Or if you want to use the filters only on this page, um, that also can be made available. Even you can actually use the filters, or say you want to limit the data for a particular year in a particular visualization, you can do that as well. So once you have the data inside, we will show you how to get the things done. um, the Power BI is again having three sections. One is the report section where you actually create your visualizations, and you can actually add the number of tabs in here. So this is a tab one that we have. You can add for the tabs and to create further visualizations. Then we have the view section where you can actually view your data, the raw data basically. So, mm, which is kind of good, if you want to actually validate, so you don't have to always flip into the database. So once you import the data, you can actually use it in here. And the last section is the modeling section, the data modeling section, where you can actually drag and drop your table. But good, good and the powerful feature that the Power BI has to offer is, actually once you import your tables, it automatically starts identifying and creating default relationship. So default relationship has to offer, as we see in SQL or any other tool, even in the basic tool of Excel sheet, you do a VLOOKUP, right? So in similar fashion, we build a relationship over here. So identifying the unique and the primary key from the left and the right section, and then we join them. So you can do a one-to-one join, one-to-many join, and there are other several options that we are going to see once we deep dive into the development portion. So these are the rich three sections that we will be using, as well as we will be using how we can actually edit the queries. So uh, good part is, if you don't know, so of course, you can actually design your data, model your data, transform your data, add calculated columns, do your calculations using DAX. But if you don't have an understanding on DAX, we are going to also show you how you can actually do it just simply by using a little bit of uh, drag and drop and write calculations in the edit query section. So edit query section will take you to the Power Query feature of Power BI. So you will be de developing the things in M language in Power Query. But the good news is, when you are actually designing in Power Query, you don't really need to have an understanding of the uh, Power Query language, because it's just a drag and drop and the background expressions automatically starts popping up. So that's a good part again. You don't need to have really, so as I told you before, you don't really need to have understanding of the tool, or you don't need to have a skill set that you need to be a programmer to understand this tool. So anyone can use it. And even DAX is actually very simple. So it's just like writing a formula in an Excel sheet. It's actually that simple. It's actually quite similar to what you even do in an Excel sheet. So uh, this is really exciting. Then there are some cool stuffs. You can use the marketplace, as I was telling before. You can import custom visualizations from the marketplace. You have options, and here is this marketplace that I'm talking about. Just click on import marketplace. So these are the basic visualizations that we get to see when you actually open the tool by default. But if you want to use further newer tools, there are a number of crazy, good-looking tools that the designers offer in the market. You can even see that in your organization, in your section, there can be people who are designing the visualization. If that comes into your place, you can even use their dashboard. If you want to design it yourself, and if you're a programmer yourself, go ahead and you can try your hands on. So there's a lot of other powerful tools that the client, I mean, you can offer to your clients. So really good map charts in here, custom map charts. So these are not available by default, but you can add it and install it within the Power BI to figure it out. But once you actually install it, you must know that it will be only installed for this visualization. So the moment you actually start development from the scratch for a new client or for a new dashboard, those options will go off, so you'll have to install it again. So installing a visualization from the map chart is very custom, and it's only specific to the dashboard that is open at this point. It won't transfer to the next, so you'll have to reinstall, but that's okay, fair enough. uh, things are These are all available free of cost, so you don't have to pay anything to download it. There are, of course, some visualizations where you have to pay, but these are like all free of cost that you see right now. I really like this dashboard, and probably we'll also see how we can actually create a workaround on this. The sunburst is again an excellent dashboard. So I can actually do a categorized search. So let's say I search by data visualizations. Okay, KPIs. So, it groups and shows you the KPI chart, all the KPIs that has been built and kept in here. Um, Gauges, yep, advanced donut light edition, rainbow gauge. These are really nice. I like this one also a lot. Advanced donut visual full edition. So it's really a awesome and excellent tool. So you can actually use this marketplace to, you know, even add more newer visualization and keeps on updating, it's expanding. So Power BI, the good part is that they have created their ecosystem, and the community keeps on adding more and more value to this tool. So unlike the other tools, where the industry has limited themselves to the expansion and the development and the upgrades, Power BI keeps on instantly getting upgraded by n number of its own users. You don't really need to be a developer in Microsoft Office. If you are a developer, you can add your visualization inside the market space, and others can use it. So it's a very great ecosystem that Power BI has offered. And I think this tool will just keep on improving, and never know where it takes us. Um, we can switch views, so these are like dark theme, so title theme, so it's just that the colors will change once you actually hit the tool in here. So this is what the default theme looks like. Say you want to with something, this will be how it looks. So there's nothing much in this. It's just a theme. But yeah, of course, this is really interesting. So we'll also show you how you can publish your dashboard once you create it. So you just need to click on publish, create your own folder in the workspace, give it the right access to the right end users, and you can pass the link to them, and anyone who have access to that um, folder that you have created in the workspace, while you are publishing the dashboard, they will be able to see it. So your clients even don't need to install the Power BI desktop to view the visualization. So that's again a further interesting thing that Power BI offers to its user. All right. So now that we are kind of clear with the overview, so moving ahead with the further sections of the slide. Um, Excuse me. So what's new in Power BI and the latest trending features? So that you can always see, in that dialog box that you open in Power BI. So you can actually click on the links and go ahead and see what are the newest additions and how it works. So you can actually check on those links and updates to the tools. Of course, yeah, the blogs and other stuff will give you all the videos. The start box, never uncheck that. Always keep you posted and keeps you up to date. All right, so moving ahead. uh, look at this cool visualization. So this is some auto industry which is trying to understand what are the most vulnerable uh, position of the cars that are actually vulnerable or exposed to accidents. So they're doing an analysis on their cars and see the visualization. The visualization itself, if you actually hover on the video, since this is just a screenshot, so I'm not able to show you exactly. But if you click on this visualization, click on the different parts of the car, you actually get the report as to what are they prone to. So the red one shows that they are actually prone to all sort of damages, including motorcycle accidents, including uh, bumper damages and overfueling. What is this? This is roof damage. So you know it is doing a great um, analysis using just a visualization. So this is really cool. So we'll see, how we can even use cool visualizations like this. So this is like kind of dedicated to their that company's visualization, but we'll see, how we can actually even get a better than this good looking visualizations. Um, all right, so jumping back to the last point, prerequisites as to how you can install Power BI in your desktop. So let me guide you through that. So as I told you before, once you click on the start button, and of course, if you are having my you're having this Windows latest version installed in your system, all you just need to do is go to the um, Microsoft Store. The icon is always stuck in your start uh, uh, setup. So just click on that and navigate to the Microsoft Store to download the Power BI desktop. So once you click on the search, so this is how the web page looks. Just need to click on search and type Power BI desktop, and you get to see the Power BI desktop. So I have already installed this product, and that's the reason it's saying launch. Else, you can just click on the get, and it will just add to your cart. Um, if you see, it also gives you a little bit of information, and it also looks like gives some sort of rating that it has to offer. So Power BI desktop puts visual analytics at your fingertips, and with this powerful tool you can actually create interactive data visualizations and reports. So yep, a little bit of summary about what the tool is all about, and shows which company is a Microsoft corporation, and this is classified into data analytics. So that's a group that it falls into. Um, so this is the minimum requirements that you need to install the Power BI. Of course, the operating system should be Windows 10, this version 14.14393 or higher. So, and the architecture, the system should be a 64-bit system. Anything less than that, Power BI will not work. Memory, nothing specified. Processor, nothing specified. Graphics, nothing specified. So it runs on very minimal requirement and it's good to go. There will be no lag, nothing, and your system will be absolutely fine. So performance wise, it's again very optimized tool, and you don't need to worry much. But of course, to get the best of the views, this is what on the right is recommended. So that's a minimal recommendation on the left, and this is the um, this is the recommendation that actually will give you a good looking graphics. So of course, yeah, Windows 10, the version remains the same, architecture remains the same. Memory, need 2 GB, but I'm sure that if you are working with your organization, you will have a system that is more higher than 2 GB, so don't have to worry much. Processor 1 gigahertz or faster, and the graphics should be 1440 into 900 or larger display resolution. So very minimal system requirement. And here's some ratings and reviews so that may be of interest. What customers have to say about the tool. So of course it keeps on and Microsoft just gives you the top 10 reviews, but it keeps on changing. And trust me, guys, everyone loves this tool. So for example, if you see this customer, it says that thanks to Microsoft to think and develop such a product, which can be worked and developed by a non-IT person. So non-IT person, this guy is a non-IT person. So that's what I was telling, you don't need actually uh, a coding background to actually develop this tool. So that's the Power BI. And before I jump into our course overview, let me tell you that we have a very precise course, and this comes with a weekly class session where you can take a weekend batch and you can take your classes. And we also have Monday to Friday weekday batches that can start as early as in the morning sessions, maybe around 7 to 8 every day if you're taking a weekday batch, 1 hour, and we'll give you information step by step so that we don't pound you with a lot of information. We can also give you a evening batch. So based on your time zone, we are willing to work and opt uh, classes for you. So feel free to touch base the Cloud Foundation team, and they will be able to, give you the course content, um, and they will be able to guide you through as to which time zone you are and what works with both of us, the trainer and the trainees. So that's really good. And if you're taking a weekend batches, say Saturdays, Sundays, then that's going to be a little intense because again we have to wind up the course. So usually, weekday batch, some completes the curriculum in a month and a half time. So it depends on the amount of learning and grasping and the practice that the students are doing, the batches are doing. That's also relevant. The weekend batches are a little long running batches because we actually take intense classes. Say we do anything around 2.5 hours, 3 hours of classes every weekend, so that we try to push the classes and at least try to finish the same session in 2 months of time. So we increase the number of hours. But I guess even though we are having a lot of information over the weekend, but then you have Monday to Friday to revise your section, and then probably you can touch base and start with the doubt session. So our course is uniquely designed, and we also make sure that on everyday classes we first discuss the doubts and then comments and jump into the um, next course content. So we really take a good care of our students, and we go in a pace that they are able to understand. We make sure that they understand what they are learning, so that they can put it into use once they are off this course. So that's the Power BI has to offer. We'll not be able to offer you any certification. Probably you can talk to the Cloud Foundation team and figure out if there is a way you can actually document that, stating that you have attended a course in here and if that works for you. But Power BI certification will be on a different node, and you have to touch base with the Microsoft official team and to figure out with them that if there are any certifications they are offering and what's their cost. So we are just here doing crash course so that we you can actually kickstart doing the visualizations. And of course, what's more important in today's industry is a person who is actually not certified in Power BI but actually knows to work in Power BI. So you get paid for knowing to work, not for getting certifications. Certifications can be attained by n number of um, n number of candidates, but a person get hired only when they have the experience to create the visualization. So always focus on the learning aspect rather than just taking the certification. That will be my suggestion. Um, I guess that's pretty much it. Let me just help you with the course content in here. Um, so this is how the course looks like. So we'll have the uh, sections divided into 8 modules, and we will give you in-depth knowledge into each of these. So we'll also do projects. We will see, we'll connect to data from various trending sources, and we'll see how we can import those data into the Power BI tool and start creating our visualization. So we'll do live projects side by side. So we'll have data that I have specifically designed, which is a very simple way of representing a particular volume of data, and we'll see what the data talks about and how we can actually make use of that data to uh, create a visualization. So we'll get into that, and these are the modules that we will create. So we'll be spending good amount of time in each section. We don't rush. We offer the best in the industry and best training in the industry, um, and also at a very reasonable price. So what you can see from the webinar. So once you get to enroll, you'll see that it's actually a very reasonable amount. So trust me, guys, you must actually enroll and jump into this course, and trust me, it will really um, help you learn this tool in a very short span of time in a very great fashion. Jumping into the tool content in here, so I'll just jump back and flip my screen to the Power BI desktop again, and I'll show you as to how easy it's to create visualizations in Power BI. So uh, on the course curriculum, we will source data from a different uh, platform altogether. But just for the purpose of demo, let me show you something where I can actually get the things moving. So let's say, I just want and say I just download the data. Okay, it's asking for a login, so probably will not get into that. Let me say population. Okay, so now that we have seen here, this is the population that is divided into certain year, and I have this data, and say I want to import this in here. So let's start with just a very simple scratch to this. So this is just demo, so we'll not go into much technical space, but we will try to import this in here. So unlike other tools, you can actually download the data from the web page directly when it comes to Power BI. So let's see how it works basically. So let's see if it's simple enough to get the things moving here. So let me just increase my space. I'll just uncheck this dialog box, and I'll go to the get source. And where my data is coming from, Excel sheet? No. Text CSV? No. So let me just click on here. So we have n number of sources, that the file has to come from, and you can actually click in between, but I need the file coming from a web page, not database. Zero. Yeah, so I'll take it from the web. Yeah, I'm gonna connect it now. Once I connect, it will ask for the URLs. You can click on the advanced and see the URL preview, but let's just be specific to the basics. So what I'm going to do is just copy this URL in here that's generated this data. We'll just copy this, paste in here. Let's see what it gives us. Okay, so it says that okay, connect to this data. Once you connect, it will just show you all the pages in here and it will probably take you to the preview also. Does it? Yes, it does. So, talks about this. There's no preview. This is the web view. Bear with me. Okay, so this is basically not giving you in here. So let me just jump into this tool in here. Probably just jump into in here. Ah, I think this is gonna just work a little better than what we were doing earlier. Uh, so let's just jump into this because that's actually not able to help us identify the data source. So maybe we'll just cancel this and start again. Uh, so now that you have used the web, it comes in here and can actually directly click it in here and then click on OK. Then takes you to the web page. So now that you can see actually the census. So you see here there are a lot of estimates and lot of. So you can preview your data, and these are the projections by UN that that the population will grow this in couple of years down the line. So we can do a n number of analysis. So our analysis is available. Estimates by UN. Okay, so our estimates are available till 2015 and projections are available from 2016. So probably even we can actually do a append of the data, but we're not jumping to much technical aspects today. We are just going to do some random visualizations that we can create out of this. So probably just take this data and just for the purpose of uh, overview learning, we are going to just import this data. So now as you've seen that you don't have to download this data separately, drag it somewhere, keep it or store in the folder and then do it, every time you just, and once this web page just refreshes, all you just got to do is you can just click on refresh. So once if you publish this, it's actually even better. You can actually schedule you can actually create your own scheduled refresh, and that way you can actually uh, don't have to bother that the data is getting refreshed or not. So if you want to say refresh your data every 15 minutes or say every weekly once or monthly once, any which ways the next month you get to see the most refreshed data. So based on your requirement, you can actually even keep a scheduled refresh option up and running for your um, Power BI tool. So now my data fields are all imported. How do I know that? If I click on this in here, you see that the fields are getting imported in here. There are other ways as well, you can actually use, but we are not going to see much today. We can actually edit the queries in here, so we will learn that in the upcoming classes from day 2. Um, but today we'll just stick to know how simple the tool is. So this is the Power Query uh, that uh, Power BI offers within the Power BI tool. So you don't have to install again a separate Power Query tool. You can do all the Power Query edits in here. And the good part is, all these sources are automatically navigated in here. So if you actually tend to see the queries, let me just try showing you the queries. Where do I see that? Yeah, so if you click on the advanced editor, this is what the Power Query is writing the code in the background. This is the M language and it says that where is the source. So source is of course the web page that we have given the URL in here, and we are identifying that okay fine, the data 3 is the data source file that we need to out for our analysis. And then we change the type. So it's all happening automatically, it's identifying the data, it's identifying the table, it's identifying the column, and then it is defining into integer, into date formats and other stuffs. So everything is done automatically in here. That's a good part about Power BI. And now, so as we're not much interfering today in the Power Query, so we'll just stop in here and probably just try to create a visualization. Let's see how we can do that. Probably say I create a bar graph. Which one do I create? Let me check this. So now that I have my data, I'll just expand it a little and I'm gonna drag the axis in here. So I have my growth field in here. Um, no, I don't need the growth field. So I need a year to population. So probably, on the category axis, I just give the year and I have to put the population. So probably I'll just keep the population out here. So, or maybe I'll just put the population, the value. Yeah, that works. Awesome. Um, let's see what it's doing in the population. It's adding and doing a sum, but it's if you see the actual data in here, so let's understand, do we really need to do a sum in here? So if I actually grab the data in the table view, you'll see that it's giving me 2015 and its population. So we don't really need to categorize this data and add a sum to it. So probably what we can do is click on the visualization again and click in here and show value as no calculation. Okay, so this is already writing the default view, so that's wonderful. We don't have to bother much, and our visualization is actually up and running now. So you can actually even check a particular list of data, and it's actually very easy to drill down to a particular data. So for example, you want to check something from 2010. This is my population, so if you hover you get to see in here. If you click on this and you want to just see the records, you can also see the records that's been provided in here. So that's drilled down to 2010 here. um, Back to report, I can also zoom this report and just see it on a separate note. All I just got to do is click on the focus mode and it's focusing only on the report. Back to the report, you can actually add multiple views and play around with the data. So for example, say I have this data in here and say I want to play around here. Mm, okay, this is a real circus. We don't really need this. It's too much of data. So probably we'll just create. All right, so one more interesting feature is that you can actually click and flip to any visualization in on a click of seconds. So if, for example, if this bar chart is looking very crowded, so all you got to do is just click on any other visualization and it automatically, turns it into that source tool. So really a very crazy and a very easy and a very simplified way of getting things done. So, all right, so we stick to where we were before, and say I want to create a visualization that gives me uh, year-wise. So, yeah, that gives me year-wise growth percentage, and I'm not gonna count so value as no application. And I can do some setup to, you know, eliminate this. But also, I may need to drill down the data. So let's say, I'll add some filters in here. So probably I'll just add the year filter in here, and that will apply to all, filters on this page. So I don't need to wish to add the filters to other pages, but I just want to see it in here. So it's saying, it's giving me advanced filter, which I don't need at this point. So probably I'll just need a basic filter that I can click on. I guess, this is not actually giving me a great way of, because there are too many years in here. So probably if I use a slider, that will be more useful. So I'll get rid of this. That's not required, and this doesn't work. So I'll probably use a slicer. And on the slicer, I'll just drag the year section. And the slicer is of various types, we'll get to see in the upcoming classes. But right now, we can just say I want to focus on 3 years data, say from 2013 to 2015. So I can just click on 2013 and I get to see what are the percentage out in here. So as you see, it's pretty much the same population, and that's not much random difference. You can see the random difference, if you actually put a waterfall chart instead, and that's where you actually see the population difference. And you can actually even communicate with the data. So you see, if you focus on 2013, it has the highest number of population, but as compared to 2014, and here, and you can even arrange the data from 2013 to 2014, so you can actually sort sending, and there you go, 2013 data is in here. You can also increase your analysis, say you want to analyze from 2007, so just to avoid the crowd. So this is an excellent feature, and I'm just creating something very randomly in the tool, so trying to show you how the things are in uh, Power BI. Um, so you don't really need to have a coding background, as I said before, to uh, do a development in this tool, and it's quite simple enough. And just click on the publish, you get to see the uh, tool, and it gets published to in here. So if you just click on publishing, do you want to save the changes? Yes. So you have to save the changes, and then we can actually go to the workspace and publish it. And that way, others can also view your visualization even if they don't have a Power BI installed in their desktop. So that's excellent feature that Power BI again has to offer to its audience. So that's being said, this is what we got in Power BI tool, guys, and I'm sure that this demonstration really have motivated you to grasp more of Power BI, and I'm sure that if you are excited, and so am I, we will definitely have a great learning session together. So I um definitely, willing to see you in the uh, next few classes that we are going to conduct, and grab on your chairs, and we'll have excellent learning with the Power BI tool and its rich features that the Power BI has to offer to its clients. So hope to see you next day, and thank you so much for sticking around. You have a great day ahead. Bye.